Today, we mourn as a nation. We mourn for the lives violently taken in a congregation in Ondo State. Nevertheless, we won't stop praying. Nigeria needs help. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm down. And I know you guys are down too. As in, Nigeria is just down. It's a mess. It's a mess. Oh God. Yesterday we were informed about the killings in Owo, Ondo State, in a church. Everybody has come out to say something. As virtually everybody has come out to say something on social media. Apparently, they went into a Catholic church, sent what now? On a significant day like yesterday, I think it's Pentecost Day yesterday. Some kind of church activity, and we know Christians have a way of finding reasons to stay from church until there's an event, there's a significant event, and they come in. And church is religion, basically. Catholicism, that's religion. Is religious activities have a way of bringing family and friends together, regardless of how much evil religion has done. You can't deny the fact that historically religion has a way of bringing family and friends together, especially when they share the same religious values. So they came to church, and oh God of mercy, they came to church and they were accosted by it's a mess. I'm not. This is not an information. This is not a news outlet, or what they call it. I'm not a news broadcaster, so if you're looking for the news, you won't get it from me. I'm just. Since yesterday, I was supposed to be talking. I was trying to talk to a friend yesterday. I was going to talk to a friend yesterday. Just spend some time and just talk, but I couldn't. And obviously, because of the way the news had spread, it would be obvious if I walked around it, So I raised the issue, and I was like, okay, go and read up on it. Or she said she was going to read up on it, and I was like, I don't want this thing to spoil your mood, the way that spoils my mood. And I was like, oh, you can handle it and stuff like that. We just couldn't talk. I mean, we just ended the conversation because anybody who sees what's going on is just horrific. Yeah, it's just horrific. And if you are not bothered by what has happened, I think it might be that you don't pray for this country. If these things happen, if you are not actively involved in leadership overhaul, I don't just call it leadership change in this country. We are looking for an overhaul. If you're not actively involved in it, maybe it's because you don't pray for this country. Because if you are actively praying for Nigeria, when you see things go wrong, it hits you different. If your heart is for the excellence of this country, when you see things go wrong, it will hit you hard. All right, it will hit you hard. So yesterday, I've been in my head, and I don't like being in my head, especially when it's a situation like this. I've been in my head, and maybe it's because I saw the videos. All right, I'm a Lagosian. Seeing dead bodies, bloodied situations is not really a new thing for me. Right from when I was a kid, I spent some of my childhood, a lot of my childhood, living close to LASU. That's the LASU of those days, Lagos State University of those days, where court activities was a normal. I mean, it was a regular Tuesday. Seeing dead bodies, beheaded bodies, decapitated, lifeless bodies, in the streets and everything. So seeing dead bodies is not my problem. It's the fact that it's now a norm, as in we have been, I don't know if the word is inundated, or we have been so flooded with evil in this country that God. Oh, God of mercy. And it begins to raise the question, should we keep praying? I mean, a friend of mine sent me a message just before I decided to record this. Sent me a message. I was like, we've been praying all this while, no results. What do we do? And in my mind, I was like, really? No results? Are you serious? No results? Are you kidding me right now? Trust me, the fact that Nigeria is still one entity, trust me, it's on the premise of prayer. Believe me, prayer is doing a lot. Yes, we would love to have more results, but you need to understand that the devil on the other side is fighting bad, as in he's going hard on his own tactics. We think we are wrestling against flesh and blood. I think that's the problem. We have this idea that because we are seeing human beings do these things, we just think that, we are dealing with human beings. No, you're dealing with spiritual forces. You don't fight spiritual forces with carnal equipment. You don't. Yeah, you might want to get a gun, which I want to do. I'm looking towards getting a gun. I want to get armed. All right, I just feel I need to get armed. I'm not saying there's something going to happen and you didn't hear from me, but I feel I want to get armed. I want to know how to use a gun and use it well, okay, with all the safety. And I want to teach people around me, I want to teach my children how to handle a gun, because nonsense like this cannot happen in certain places in this world. We know it. We know it. You can't do this nonsense in the southern parts of USA. You can try it in California, you can try it in New York, you can try it in Chicago. You can't try it in Tennessee, in Florida. You can't try it in Texas. You're a joker. You can't try it in Alabama. You're a joker. The moment you show up, the pastor himself, the priest has a gun. The priest has a gun. The ushers have guns. Everybody has. They will kill you before you step in. But you can't do it in Nigeria because guns are restricted only to military, security agencies and criminals. Apparently, criminals are getting these guns. Where they're getting them from, we act like we don't know. All right, we act like we don't know where they're getting them from. We know that Nigerian politicians are funding. Nigerian politicians are funding evil in this country, actively funding and actively galvanizing evil in this country, but we act like we don't know, and we want to go to the polls next year and manifest stupidity once again. You understand? I want to go to the polls next year and manifest stupidity once again. I laugh because somehow, somewhere, we will do this stupid thing, and then a year after, 2 years after, you will now call me to come and protest against one nonsense. I will beat you. I'm saying it now. If anybody calls me, if you vote useless, idiotic non-entities, incompetent, irresponsible people into government, in fact, not just irresponsible, counterproductive people into government, and then they do the thing they know how to do best, which is just be incompetent, and then you decide to protest 1 year, 2 years into the administration, and then you call me to come and join you on the streets and protest, I will come to your house and I will slap you. Yes, because now we are shouting, receive sense, get your voter's card, go to the polling booth, and elect sensible people. You need to be daft not to know now, right now, the sensible people who are running for offices. You need to be daft to look at the people who are going for presidency. All right, you are looking at them, and you do not know which of them is the most competent. You actually need to be daft. If you want to vote based on tribal inclination or religious preferences, fine. But be honest with yourself and say, okay, I'm voting for this guy because he's a Yoruba man. I'm voting for this guy because he's an Igbo man. I'm voting for this guy because he's a Muslim. Do that. But don't come and tell me that this guy that I know cannot deliver is the person you are voting for because you are voting for competence. It's a lie. Or then you say you are voting for. I think I need to do a video on. I need to do a podcast on this. Stupid reasons why people vote for stupid people. Yeah, I think that's a good title. Stupid reasons why stupid people vote for stupid people. Yeah, because I've heard reasons. I've heard reasons that sometimes I just drop what I'm doing. I try to just sit down and break down that reason and just take some minutes in the world of stupidity and try to see if I can comprehend where the thought is coming from. When somebody tells me I don't want to waste my vote, I don't want to vote for somebody I know that will not win, I'm like, how do you come to this thought process? Nigeria's problem is a leadership problem. Let's not lie to ourselves. Nigeria's problem is not a problem of the people are. Yes, we know that the problem has gotten into the fiber of our existence, as in corruption, disorder, crime. It has gotten into the fiber, as in we are built, as in when the uniform agencies, security agencies, the people who are supposed to be custodians of order are becoming the icons of corruption, then you know that it has gotten into the system. When you can't trust the police, you literally cannot trust the man who says I'm a police officer, then yeah, the corruption is bad. The situation is very bad. I'm not saying all policemen are bad. Trust me, I'm not saying that. I mean, I have military officers who I can trust with my life any day. You understand? What I'm saying is, when you have come to the point where you are driving down the road, you see a police officer, and you feel threatened, yeah, the problem has gotten into the root of the system of this country. When politicians are sharing foreign currency to delegates in order to convince them to vote for them, you are when the governor of the central bank, an independent organization, an organization that is supposed to be independent of the federal government, when the governor of the central bank is playing partisan politics to the point where he is buying whether he's going buying it or they bought it for him, he is looking for a ticket to become the president through a political party, you know that country is a mess. That's how you know that the country is, because I did a paper on central banks around the world and the independence of central banks around the world. I did a paper on it, and I mean, different universities, different institutions are reading, are going through it. It's on ResearchGate. I made it available to everybody on ResearchGate. If you know ResearchGate, it's a repository for articles and stuff like that. So I did a paper on that. And one of the reasons why you can trust a CB, a central bank of any country, is that they are independent. That the president cannot just wake up one morning and say, print money for me now, like Idi Amin would do. You understand? The president cannot just say, "Oh, raise the monetary policy rate, do this, do that." No, there's a level of independence of the government, so that the president does not just, commandeer the system and start doing what he wants so that he can become rich. But when the governor of that central bank, that's why it's called governor, there's a level of independence. When the governor of that central bank decides to, within a party, run for office, a partisan office, then you know that your independence of the central bank is nonsense, and your country is in a mess. Now, according to yesterday, when you have a situation where people armed men walk into a church and just start spraying bullets. one of my former colleagues sent me a message. I was like, "What is that? What happened? How did you get here? That no sanctuary, there's no more sanctuary in the church. That normally the church is supposed to be a place where you run to for safety. People, as in, no matter what they're chasing you about, once you step into a church or a mosque, people are supposed to let you go. And what madness is this?" And I'm like, "You are just coming to the party." This is a practice in the north. A lot of the people in the south don't understand this. This what you saw now is a thing in the north. It's every Friday there's a very strong possibility that there will be killings or there will be arson. Churches will be burnt down, houses will be looted. Yeah. If you I was in SCCF. We heard stories of these SCCF members in the north, in different states in the north, will just have to run out of their houses, run out of their state houses, and run into the bush or run somewhere just so that they can avoid. Every Friday, once they do their Jumas, what they call it, they give lectures, and those lectures are more like instigate. They rev them up. Before you know it, they are chanting and they are getting machetes and other violent gadgets, and they are in the streets looking for who to. It has been a regular thing in the north. That's why northern Christianity is not a joke. If you see a northern Christian, you will know. You will, from the way they handle Christianity, the way they handle their faith, the way they see God, the way they perceive, the way they pray, the way they talk, the way they hold on to their faith. You will know that this person is coming from adversity. It's not Southern Christians that if there's no AC in the church, if the sound is not good, if the kiniko is not that, they feel like it is like, I don't like the way that person is singing, as if it is you that the singer is worshiping. I don't want to go to church. You don't have to go to church. We can watch on YouTube. I've heard people say stupid things, as things are like, what? I will do a podcast on that. Please be reminding me of these things. Please be said. I will do it on that, because that's another big issue. Christians who have resorted to long distance worship, free roaming, free ranging, freelance Christians. They don't have a home church. They watch any on YouTube under their duvet, drinking coffee. They are worshiping God, because you have the convenience of doing that nonsense. In China, when they suppressed the Christian faith, they suppressed the church. They were memorizing scriptures. They couldn't carry Bible, so they would tear page by page and share it amongst themselves. So you read it, you memorize it, you cram it, then you pass it on to the next person. Pass that page to the next person. They take another page and cram and pass. That's what they were doing. That's what they were doing. They were smuggling pieces of paper of the gospel. They were hiding in basements, in bunkers, in different places so that they can worship. And when I worship, I don't mean singing louder, clapping. No, they will be whispering the faith to each other. Then we are here in the south doing as if this Christianity is a luxury. Don't worry. Should be now they're in the south. They are joking. Pray for Nigeria. Pray for Nigeria. Why are we praying for Nigeria? Go to countries that have seen what Nigeria has seen, and check whether they are still together. Go to countries that have seen some countries have not even seen half of what Nigeria has seen, and they have been disintegrated. They've been destroyed. Nigeria is still together. It's prayer, because the truth is, no region can stand on its own. I will say it again. No region. No region. No, whether it's the north, northeast, northwest, no geopolitical zone can stand on its own. We are strategically united for interdependence. Yes, we will not lie that certain regions are just lying idle, while other regions are feeding them. We will not deny. Statistics is available on that. If we decide to share revenue based on effectiveness, based on internally generated, if we say federal government revenue should be given out based on internally generated revenue. In other words, whatever you generate in your state, we will double it from the federal government as our federation, fiscal federalism. If you do that, some states will not have anything, and some states will have everything. Port Harcourt, Delta State, Lagos State, Anambra State, all these states, because they are productive. There's some other states, I don't want to mention their names, they will not see anything because they are not productive. They are just sitting out there waiting for government at the federal level to send them money. And because they're not productive, their youths are resorting to this. You can draw a straight line from low productivity to crime. This is statistics. You can draw a straight line from low productivity to insecurity. When they say the idle man is devil workshop, it's not a cliche. It's not some nice sounding word. It's the truth. The reason why Boko Haram, banditry, and all this, the reason why they can recruit young guys is because these young guys are doing nothing. If these young guys are engaged, what exactly are you enticing them with? Forget, you are doing it for your religion, you are doing it for one thing, is a lie. If you give people money, they will not. Why should I go and kill myself when I'm living a good life? Let's be honest with ourselves. Go to developed countries. Where do you see radical religion, radical extremism and all that? You don't see it there. Why? Because they are living comfortably. You need to be suffering from acute mental illness to resort to killing people to prove a point. So when you see people who are not bothered by this, it's usually because they don't pray for the country. They are used to this evil and they just feel like, okay, it's far from me. It's far from me. Then you see others who they because of laziness. I personally think it's laziness. Anybody who says that prayer is laziness. That prayer is not valid, is not necessary, that we've been praying all this while, we need to take action. Ask them, what action? Help me. In your infinite wisdom and knowledge and understanding, please tell me, what action can you take now to solve this problem? Most of the people who say prayer is not effective, prayer is we have prayed enough, usually they don't have a prayer life. One. So how do you now say prayer is not enough if you actually don't have a prayer life? Secondly, those people have done nothing to solve the problem. They are the complaint squad. Okay, so they just complain about the situation. Thirdly, those people are usually the problem. They are usually the problem. In this life, there are two kinds of people. There are two categories of people. There are those who are the solutions, and those who are the problems. Or we can say those are the problems. Okay, and they are the another category, those who are solutions. There are people who constitute the problem. They are the challenge. They are the ones who either need help or they are creating situations where people need help. Then there are people who have made themselves the solution to the problems. They have made themselves in any way, whether it is directly or indirectly, they are providing solutions to the problems. I have dedicated my life to being a solution at every time. In every situation I see myself, I try to be the solution. Sometimes it becomes too much, because in an effort to not be a problem, I don't complain to people. I don't tell people about my problems, and sometimes I will just be dying in silence, and I don't like being a body. Okay, but it also helps because in situations where we need a solution, if I'm there, a solution will show up. That is my life. I live my life in an effort to be a solution. So when someone is saying prayer does not work, prayer is not needed, it is usually those people are the problem. Because anybody who is dedicated to being a solution will understand that in as much as we take effort, prayers are alternative solutions. What efforts do we take? Simple. At least bare minimum, get your voters card. Bare minimum, get your voters card, and actively engage in political participation. As in, actively discuss and get involved in political discussion. In discussions about leadership. Don't just say, "Oh, I've got my PVC, let's go and sleep." No, actively engage. In other words, hear what people are saying and also give your input. Because when you give your input, people will begin to see the reason why they should not be doing the stupid things they're doing. But if you close your mouth and just say, "A bunch of idiots, look at them," they will keep walking in their ignorance. Meanwhile, you have an answer that can help them know the truth and do right. There are people who are problems and there are people who are solutions. People who are against praying for the nation, check them. They have no prayer life. Two, they have no solution. They have nothing they are providing, they are bringing to the table. It's not as if they are saying, "Okay, I will bring money, we'll share guns, we're going to kill these people, let's go and fight war." They don't have the resources. 3, they are the problem. They are actually the problem. How do I know? James, in his second chapter of his book, in the 14th verse of that second chapter, he said, "Faith without works is dead." That 14 to 20 something verse. He said, "Faith without works," and he explained what it means. Conviction without manifestation. Okay, when you don't have manifestations, then there's no conviction. The fact that I'm convinced about a thing will be seen in the way I act, the way I behave. Okay, when I'm convinced that gravity works, I will avoid high places, or even when I get to high places, I will be cautious so that I don't drop off the edge, because I know that based on the laws of gravity, I will be hurt. So your conviction defines or reflects in your manifestation. Okay, because I know that I have private parts on my body and I consider them private, it now informs what I wear in public. So you see me wearing certain clothes in public, and like, why did you wear this shirt? Why did you wear this trouser? Okay, it is because in my mind, somewhere in the depths of my mind, I have private parts which need to be covered in public. Do you understand now? So if I decide to walk around naked in my house, it is because in my consciousness, somewhere in my mind, I'm in my private house. So nobody is seeing me. So I can decide to just walk around with a boxer. You understand what I mean? Which I cannot do in public. So your conviction generally shows up in the things you do outside. So if you are convinced that the prayers you are praying for Nigeria, you are praying to God who will hear you and do the things that even you cannot do. He will hear you and do the things that your strength cannot do. He will go beyond the limits of human ability and intervene, carry out divine interventions in places where you cannot carry out those interventions. If you pray and you believe God, it will show in your outward manifestation. Your daily life, we will see it. It won't be hidden. We will see it. How do I know somebody who prays for the country? When you pray for a country, if you are fervent, over time, you stop doing certain things like litter. When you see people throw things on the road, when you see people wind their car down, you are in your car. Put the nonsense in your car and get to where you have a dumpster, where you have a trash, and you trash whatever it is. But no, they wind down on the express, the road that people have cleaned, and they throw, you see, not biodegradable or non-biodegradable materials, bottles, nylons, things that will not decay in the next 1 month. They throw it out on the road. That person is not praying for this country. I am confident. You cannot be praying for this country and you don't have a PVC. I'm sorry, you are not. That prayer is nonsense. You cannot be praying for this country and you are looking for who will give you money so I can vote. You are not praying for this country. It's a lie. It's not true. You can't be praying for this country and you get to a queue and you are looking for how to jump the queue. You are not praying for this country. You are clearly not praying. It will show your conviction that Nigeria will. The idea behind praying for something is that you have faith. The fact that I can go on my knees and pray for ABC is because I have faith that ABC can change. So if I'm praying for Nigeria, I have faith that at some point, whether it is tomorrow or next year or next 4 years, Nigeria will receive a significant change. That means that in my outward manifestation, I don't need to fake it. It will just flow within me. I don't need to fake it. I know how many times I come back home with empty sweet wrapper or empty pure water in my bag or in my pocket. And I just remove them and say, all these things I ate on the road, only God knows when I ate them or which day safe. Why? Because I don't know how to throw things around. Maybe it's Bapop University that made me do that, learn that nonsense. I don't know how to do it. How to just eat something and just throw. Even if it is biodegradable, even if it is organic and it can decay in days, I don't know how to throw things around. I can't be praying for this country and be a problem to the country. Oh God. This country needs. Like I said earlier, it's a leadership problem. And if you are praying for this country, praying for leadership overhaul, you should get ready to actually, let your outward activity reflect your inward conviction. Nigeria needs help. But we are getting to the point where we need to start realizing that we are the help Nigeria needs. We are the help Nigeria needs at the end of the day. Sometimes I ask, okay, why is it a leadership problem? As an economist, as a trained economist, yes, as a trained economist, what I've come to realize, now I didn't see this in any book or any, it's just something I came to realize in my study. Economics is research. Economics is not really a body of knowledge. Economics is generally research. So you can discover something today that disputes everything you have read in the past 10 years. Okay, so economics is pure, it's research, it's purely research. It's not like art where there's a body of work where you have to read and know. It's not like Christian religious studies where you read the Bible, that's the body of work. You read it and know, and once you know, you are done, you are there. No, it's research, so it's a progressive knowledge. So in my study, I realized that most macroeconomic problems are solved effectively with macroeconomic analysis, macroeconomic changes. So you have a macroeconomic problem, if you have a national economic problem, okay, if you begin to go through the macroeconomic analysis, you will find a solution at the micro level that if you tweak the micro level, you will get results. Okay, so the GDP has a problem, there's inequality in income, there is overdependence on a particular industry. These are macroeconomic problems. The solution can be going to the micro level and establishing SMEs in strategic places, equipping or empowering individuals. Okay, at the macro level, monetary policy is having problem. It's not being effective. There's 70% shadow economy. The informal sector is so large, and monetary policy is not effective on the country. Simple. At the micro level, begin to create avenues that will compel players in the informal sector to come into the financial sector. Okay, so they will come in so that you can now start accounting for them, all the people, the carpenters, the bricklayers, okay, the artisans, okay, the marketing men, okay, getting them to come into the system, so you can have them recorded, so that even the money that they save in their mattress, the money that they save in their house under the rug, will be affected by monetary policy. So you compel them to bring those monies out and take it to their bank. So that's the micro level solutions to macro. The same thing when you have macroeconomic problems, the solutions are usually at the macro level. Okay, when you have macroeconomic problems, like the economic crisis of the 1930s, individuals had no demand. Okay, they didn't have money to make demand. They didn't have money to buy things. Right? It was a major crisis. And the first macroeconomic analyst that came up, the major one, which is Maynard Keynes, John Keynes, he was one that did the macroeconomic analysis and said the government at the macro level needs to make major investments in certain places so that income can go up and people can have money in their pockets to buy at the micro level, and then demand will wake up and the economy will wake up. It is the same thing with leadership. The problem we are seeing at the bottom, where the young people are taking drugs, idle people are getting arms and calling themselves bandits and joining religious movements, even though the problem is stomach problem, it's a problem of hunger and poverty. At the micro level where there is crime, at the micro level where there is disorder. I mean, Lagos State right now, anybody drives on anywhere. People drive against traffic, for traffic, around traffic, inside traffic, above traffic, under traffic. You want to cross the road, you look left, right, up, down, and you wait, and then you look again. You go through the cycle because anything can land on you, not just hit you now. Anything can land on you. There is disorder in Lagos State. At that micro level, where individuals, families are suffering inflation, as in there's the inflation in double digit inflation, and we are doing as if it's a normal thing. In America, they have inflation on 7%, 8%, and 7% was the highest or so. And they are making noise everywhere. Fox TV, CNN, everybody's shouting there's inflation. Meanwhile, Nigeria is here, the biggest, biggest economy in Africa. We are experiencing double-digit inflation. Nobody's saying anything. We just have announcers instead of journalists. Our press is announced. We don't have press. We have announcers. At that micro level, with all that mess, the solution to our problem is at the macro level. If you have good leadership, sir, oh God, is pinching me because I see churches. I think I need to look for a video. I wish I could pause this and look for a video where Chintoki Shako was saying certain things, and it was very strong things, and he was saying, Pastor Chintoki Shako, I don't know if you know him. He's the guy that sang, "You're the lion and the lamb, the word of the Father, forever you remain." Yeah, he was saying, yeah. So he was saying certain things, and it's the truth. If you look at it, even Mensah Tabi said it. Mensah Tabi from Ghana said the same thing about Nigeria, He said, your solution, your wisdom is in the church. The church remains the symbol of efficiency in Nigeria. When I see Adeboye, I see Oyedepo, I see Kodrimade, I see David Ogweli, I see Kisle Okonkwo, I see, oh my goodness, I see Paul Adefarasi, I see Kumuyi, I see Odukoya. These guys are showing that management can be done excellently. Administration can be done excellently. Who was it? Was it Arume? Apostle Arume? Who was it? Somebody was saying it, that the government needs to go and ask these Christian organizations, how are they doing? How are you guys getting things done with minimal resources? How is it? What Covenant University used to build, what Oyedepo used to build Covenant University, if they use it to build secondary school, federal government secondary school, it won't be enough. They won't finish just one block. They won't finish administration block with that money. The government is heavily expensive because of bad management. So you see, and it is leadership. Trust me, thousands of people in church, they say, oh, Nigeria is exporting religion. Kill yourself if you want to kill yourself. Nigeria is showing the world that Christianity is a solution, not a problem. They are getting it done. Whether you like it or not, whether you like Christians or not, be honest with yourself. Nigeria is poor, Nigeria is poor. Nigeria is poor, Nigeria is poor. Look at what Dunamis International is doing in Abuja. Look at the massive, oh my goodness. Go to Nasarawa, see what Bishop David, what's his name? Look at what he's doing there. These guys, and it's not as if they just build church and it's just lying there. They have employees. They have 2,000 employees, 5,000 employees that are working for them. So, if these guys are running church, this is non-profit. Church is non-profit. When they balance their accounts, it's not profit and loss. What you see is surplus and deficit. So these guys are not running a business organization, and yet they are so effective, so efficient. Should you not go and ask, how are you guys doing it? How can we replicate this and raise money for Nigeria? How can we do this and be fair? Why they will not do it is because what we have in Nigeria is bad, demonic leadership, devilish leadership. And it is we Christians that voted for these people. We voted for these people. I'm not saying we voted for these people because we voted the Muslims. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we voted for these people. When I'm saying these people, I'm not saying, oh, we voted for Muslims. I'm saying we voted for incompetent people because we lack wisdom. I supported Yar'Adua. Do you know why? Because Yar'Adua was picked by somebody who had wisdom and he knew what to look for in picking. Yar'Adua was being sponsored by Obasanjo. Obasanjo was picked by, a lot of people don't know this. Obasanjo was picked by prophecy. A lot of people don't know this. Go and ask Bishop Wale Oke. Bishop Wale Oke was the one that said God told him clearly that this is the next president. That was in 1999. Obasanjo didn't want to. Obasanjo just wanted to just go to his farm. A lot of you don't know. I've not read about Obasanjo, how he was a pastor in 2 different prisons, how he read the Bible, how he back to back, how he was involved in fasting for a long time in the prison. He was a prison pastor. They trusted him, as in the prison guards trusted him that much. When he came out, it was like, okay, let me go to my farm and go and Bishop Wale came and told him, you're the next. The man said, please leave me alone. just leave me alone. I did not forget anything in the state capital. He said, no, you are the next. And when Obasanjo was getting done, he went to look for the only governor who left money in the state coffers before leaving. The governor who had managed the state well, and that person was Yar'Adua. He did not say, oh, he's a Muslim, oh, he's a Hausa, he's not a... He didn't care. He said, you are effective. Come, I want to work with you. You are effective. I want to work with you. That was what he was looking at. So it's not about, and since Obasanjo's time, no other president has ever come to the table with a plan. Yeah, that was the last person. That was the only person in the Fourth Republic that came and said, I have 7-point agenda. Even though it was Leke Ayada that drew the 7-point agenda for him. But he paid, you think it's joke? You pay money. And they drew out the plan. He said, I like this plan, 7-point agenda. I want to do this before I leave office. These were strategic plans with time frame, with milestones, with monitoring techniques. After him, no other person, even Goodluck Jonathan, the wonderful Christian, he didn't have that kind of plan. So it's not about religion, it's not about tribe, it's about competence. The only person after Yar'Adua that has a plan is Peter Obi. Whether you like it or not, whether you like him or not, it is the truth. After Yar'Adua, is the only person now that has a plan is Peter Obi, and has the wisdom and the intellect and intelligence to carry out that plan. It's like a Joseph. Not only does he have the solution, he has the way to carry out the solution out. Nigeria's problem is a leadership problem. There was a time Dora Queen was trying to rebrand Nigeria and help us get a new mindset of the country, and I understand what she was doing. Honestly, I applaud it. Okay, but the problem was not a problem of the people. The people need leaders, not rulers. That's why I'm still praying. Anybody who says that they want to rule Nigeria, let them die before the election. I pray it again. Any human being born of a woman upon this earth, breathing oxygen like the rest of us, that says, I want to rule Nigeria, I deserve to rule Nigeria, let them die before the election. Let God and devil find a way of removing them from this earth. Nigeria does not need rulers. We need serving leaders. If you're not ready to serve, please leave the corridors of power. Leave corridors of power. Nigeria is not a gift card. Nigeria is not a reward for godfatherism. Thunder should fire all of them, one by one. What is all that? The earlier we realize this, the better. Nigeria's problem is a leadership problem. If we get it right at the top, it will trickle down. If we get it right at the top, it will trickle down, especially the executive arm of the government. Nigeria's executive arm is problematic. It is so bad that the legislature is complaining, the judiciary is complaining. Nigeria's executive arm of the government is problematic, especially under Buhari. Is problematic. They have no regard for law and order. They do things. Judiciary will say, "Oh, this is our ruling on so case." Buhari will just go to hell. What is his business with their decision? And they will just do what they want to do. The legislature is complaining that if the executive does not back their decisions in the House, in the National Assembly, why are they meeting and talking? Why are they spending money meeting and talking and deliberating when the executive will still do what they want to do? Nigeria's problem is a leadership problem. It's a leadership problem. But we are not ready to tell ourselves the truth. We want to vote based on tribal and religious inclinations. Somebody told me. Somebody came on social media. I don't want to mention his name because I don't want it to be like I'm attacking him. And said, what's his name? Oshibanjo. Professor Yemi Oshibanjo is a breath of fresh air. That when he announced his candidacy, when he announced the fact that he wanted to run for presidency, that it was a breath of fresh air. And I asked him, sir, please help me understand your logic. How is this man a breath of fresh air? How? Help me understand. A man who is part of the problem, we are still in the problem. It's not as if it happened 20 years ago and we have forgotten about it. We are still in his track record of problematic leadership. He is at the center of it. If he did not like what was going on, he could have resigned. He could have stepped away like Tunde Bakare did. Instead, he stood there. He participated fully in the nonsense that they call leadership. And then in his speech, in his declaration speech, he came out and commended the nonsense that his boss had been carrying out all these many years, and then said he was, gave us the impression that he was going to continue from where his organ stopped. No, sir. Affliction shall not rise a second time. Unless you are delusional or you are in total denial, that you will say that the past 6-7 years has been okay and wonderful and all roses and butterflies and puppies and milk and honey. If you want to be in that mental state, fine. But those of us who are honest with ourselves know that it has been a mess the past 7 years. I will not support anybody who is giving me the impression that he wants to continue from where the guy stopped, with the other guy stopped. No, now. Affliction, no, we can't suffer this thing more than once. No. May God help Nigeria deliver us from amnesia. Because we tend to forget nonsense. We tend to forget nonsense. Nigeria's problem is the leadership problem. People are still, the killings. Oh my goodness, it was horrific. It was horrific. No. And I realized that these things happen in the north. They happen regularly. My northern friends are not even blinking. I don't even call them northern friends. The ones in the middle belt, even the ones in the north, they are not posting on social media because they've been shouting this thing all this while. We in the south, we are acting as if we didn't know what's going on. We are doing praise concerts, we are doing jamboree, we are doing activity. Meanwhile, people are dying in the north. Now that they've come to our domot, it's now getting clear. It's now being very clear to us. May God help us. May God help us. At the end of the day, may God help us. If you like, agree that God will help us, God will not help us. The reason why you are still alive, the reason why Nigeria has not gone up in flames, the reason why you can kill a Christian girl in the north, you can mob her, kill her for religious reasons, and you will not get a retaliation in the south. It's prayer, it's God. Let me drink water, please. It's prayer. It's not your effort. There's nothing you did. There's nothing your elected officials did to keep Nigeria. Forget it. The reason why Biafra has not left is God. Because whether you like it or not, even the map shows that Biafra cannot even come out of its own. Because people in Delta State are saying they are not going with Biafra. People in Port Harcourt are saying they are not Biafra. So how do you now carve out the East? How do you carve out Igbo people when they are surrounded by Nigeria? Yes, now people in Delta State, Muslims in Delta State are saying we are Delta State, and the Igbo Jews don't have anything for us. Port Harcourt are saying we are not even Igbo. Port Harcourt are saying we are equally, we are River State. We are saying we are equally, we are this one. We are not Igbo people. So Biafra should stay on its own. So how then do you carve out the Igbo land when they are surrounded by Nigeria? So even from the map, it is not possible. Then from building an economy in isolation, I don't see, especially when you have been living dependent on the south, on the north. Yeah, whether you like it or not, there's an interdependence. Even if all they produce, all they have for you is a market, it's still something. The fact that you can produce and you can move it to other states is a thing, it's a good thing. The fact that they too can produce tomato, pepper, onions, all that thing. And no matter how trivial you think they are, they may not be iPhone, they may not be cars, but they are still things that you need. And they send them down here. We are still dependent on each other. Nigeria's problem is the leadership problem. The earlier we realize this, the better for us. I'm confident you've been blessed by this session. Please follow the podcast and share with everyone you know. You can also go to our website www.theprojectsoul.com, because that's where you get everything we have done, everything we are doing, and everything we are yet to do. Whether it's our music, whether it's our events, whether it's our videos, you can get it on our website. You can also follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram, Daniel McDon and the Project Salt. All right, and you can also do that on YouTube. Subscribe, like, share on YouTube, Salt TV. Those videos will bless you. You can also go to our store, online store, www.theprojectsoul.com/shop, and get our merchandise, all branded merchandise from our store. You can also get products from our partners. You can also partner with us and donate to what we do. www.theprojectsoul.com/give. Your support will go a long way. God loves you.